Tonight, the football world turns its attention to New York, where Argentina and Spain meet in the FIFA World Cup Final. It is, of course, a clash between the reigning world champions and one of Europe's most complete sides. It is also a meeting of eras. Barcelona great Lionel Messi comes up against the new guard who have taken over the reins at Catalunya, where they will don the colours of Spain. To help us unpack the tactical details, the pressure and, of course, the moments that could decide it, I'm joined by coaches Cavin as well as Farouk Khan. A very good afternoon to both of you. Thank you so much for joining us here on Week Ahead. I'd just like to start here quickly before we touch on the FIFA World Cup. Of course, news that has dominated football in South Africa this past week, of course, is the passing of Jaden. Both of you have nurtured young talent in this country. What would you like to say to Jaden's family and other players travelling in the same journey he travelled to the top? Let me maybe start with you, please, Farouk.
Well, firstly, it's been a tragedy, to say the least. I think Jaden is one of the most talented players that we've produced over the last, I would say, the last 5 or 6 years. He comes from Stellenbosch, where he was in the academy, and he really proved himself. And it's sad to see such a talented person, departing from this world as soon as he did. To his family, we want to give them our condolences. And we hope they get strength from each other and from the public in general. And yeah, it's sad. And I think it's something that we need to be mindful of. Mental health is a problem with sports people. And I think there has to be the necessary intervention that is still lacking in professional sport in South Africa. I think in the world, generally, there's a lot of emphasis on sports psychologists, etc., that do take care of people's problems, especially athletes who constantly are tested, as at the highest level. It's from the outside, it looks all a bed of roses, but it's a challenging profession.
It definitely is. Coach Cavin?
Yeah, firstly, thank you for having me on the show. And as a football person or as a sports person, we'd like to pass our condolences to the Adams family. And it is a real tragedy that we lose people like this so young. But in saying that, as developers and as people who develop young athletes, we always know that we still attach a lot of pressure that normal children don't go.
Yeah.
And like Farouk says, the mentality, the psychology of developing players has.
Coach Cavin, your network is a little bit bad there. You're breaking quite a bit on my side. I'm just going to move over to Coach Farouk quickly. Farouk, last night's third-place play-off between England and France produced 10 goals and swung dramatically from one half to the next. England, of course, winning that one 6-4. Do you expect a more open World Cup final tonight, or do finals tend, to become a little bit more cautious?
Well, I think both teams respect each other tremendously, and they have a lot of similarities, and I don't think it's going to be a game, especially in the first half. I suppose they'll feel each other out. In the last match that Spain played, they were phenomenal. They're a team that know how to starve the opposition of possession. They defend with the ball, and technically they are out of this world. I mean, you look at Argentina, they also have a lot of quality players. I think pound for pound, Spain still has more quality, but then you have the Messi factor. And I think Messi brings just not his quality and his class, but this leadership on the field, and you can see every player there look up to him. And when you have that camaraderie and team spirit, I think it's going to be a fantastic final. And may the best team win.
Coach Cavin, let's quickly try you again there. So, of course, Farouk just spoke to the Messi factor, which, of course, is true. Everyone knows Argentina's attack flows through Messi. At 39, Messi no longer dominates games physically for 90 minutes, yet he remains decisive in key moments. So how do you defend against a player who only needs 1 or 2 touches to change the direction of the game?
That's the beauty of having a Messi in your team, Nico. And when Farouk says these things, he knows what he's talking about. But I'd like to go back and say the Messi factor comes from the fact that many years ago, a man called Johan Cruyff went to Barcelona and he created the total football model there. And that has carried on for many years. And when you look at the Spanish team now, they have a coach that has been with them since under 20 or under 17. The Argentinian coach has also been with some of these players since the youth. So it tells you something that the continuation within both countries is there. And the message that they send into the world is that you have to keep on with what is working for you. The factor that I think will be the factor tonight is that I hope Argentina don't make it a rugby match within the first 15 minutes, because that's what they're capable of, upsetting the cart. But Spain has got very, very, very good technical players, and they're able to last the distance. And I think they have a little bit over the rest of the world regarding Messi, because Messi is a Spanish product. We cannot say he comes from an Argentinian product. He is a Spanish product. So tonight's going to be a fantastic final, and I hope the best team wins.
Definitely. Coach Farouk, let's just quickly move over to you. And I just want to stay on this Messi topic. You know, many people are framing this as Messi versus Lamine Yamal. 19-year-old Yamal is not facing a Messi in his prime, of course, you know, but he's facing an older and wiser version of the man. So, and remember, this is also a man that Messi himself once held, you know, as a toddler, just to give us an indication, you know, of what we're looking at here. So how do you expect the competition then to go between the two teams, Coach Farouk, taking these two individuals into consideration?
Well, it's always great to have players like Messi and Yamal. Yamal hasn't really risen up to the levels that we know he's capable of. He's just come from an injury, and I think he's been used sparingly. But he's also a player that can turn a game on his head within one moment, and we've seen him do that. Barcelona, we've seen him in this tournament as well, as far as assists are concerned. But I think the bigger picture is that Spain have proven beyond a doubt that they're the most balanced team, both offensively and defensively. I mean, you look at the two fullbacks, Cucurella and Porro. They are phenomenal. I mean, they're just not involved as fullbacks in the defensive phase. They're also involved in the attacking phase, as well as the creative phase, as well as organizing the team in midfield. Porro scored a brilliant goal in their last encounter. And I think that is a testament to this team. This is total football. Cavin rightly pointed out that when Johan Cruyff and them introduced total football, it was something that the Spanish people embraced. They have an identity. And irrespective of the result tonight, they will play according to that identity, no matter what the score is. And that is so important for any footballing nation, to have an identity that suits the players they have. And I'd love to see us as South Africans take a leaf out of their book, because physically, they do resemble our players, but they make up for the lack of physicality with their speed and skill, which we as South Africans have an abundance of. So It's a great example for us tonight to look at. It's a great example for us to embrace and to use moving forward, because where to from now? Bafana did fairly well in qualifying for the knockout stage, but there has to be an idea of how we can get to the next level. And tonight is a great advert for football lovers, for the purist, and I'm sure we're going to see some exciting football. And Cavin said something which is important. The physicality has to be controlled by the referees. The referees can have, and VAR is proven in this tournament, that it has been controversial to some extent.
Coach Farouk, unfortunately, we are out of time. I'm so sorry to interrupt you there. I'm really, really sorry. We have run out of time, but thank you so much. That is Coach Farouk Khan, as well as Coach Cavin Johnson, chatting to us ahead of the FIFA World Cup Final, which takes place this evening between Argentina as well as Spain. And, of course, that one is at 9 p.m.